Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today in support of the Net Zero Existing Buildings Strategy. I will be the third person speaking on behalf of Climate Fast, and I will do my best not to. I'm also the last person speaking on this item, so I'll try my best not to duplicate what's already been said. As has been mentioned, the unprecedented heat and raging fires in the West have served as a preview to the impacts of climate change. The suffering, the death, and the destruction to come, even here in Toronto, if we don't take rapid and aggressive action to curb our dependence on fossil fuels. The strategy in front of you today makes it clear that buildings are the source of over half of the city's greenhouse gas emissions, which makes it absolutely essential that the city implement a strong program of retrofit and energy conservation across all building sectors, regardless of pushback that can be expected from those who want to maintain the status quo. We at Climate Fast commend the city's work on this issue and strongly support the strategy's recommendations. But we also have a few concerns that I will briefly outline here, and I will refer you to our written submission if you would like some greater detail. So our first concern is expressed in the strategy about whether the city has the full authority to unilaterally implement its recommendations. And we urge the city to work with the province where possible and to test the limits of its existing bylaw authority to take measures it needs to reduce its carbon emissions. Second, we continue to be concerned about the role of utilities like Enbridge and Toronto Hydro in the implementation of this strategy. Enbridge will almost certainly resist efforts to promote a fuel shift away from natural gas, but it may be willing to consider changing its business model to include such services as district heating and cooling, and decentralized energy generation from renewable resources. Toronto Hydro could be mandated, this has been mentioned by Sharon Bider, could be mandated to deliver a wider range of programs and services, including large-scale financing and utility-based repayment programs for building owners. Third, related to the supply side of decarbonization, the recently released Net Zero report by the International Energy Agency calls for an end to the sale of fossil fuel burning boilers by 2025. We would like to see a similar set of deadlines for the sale of emission generating equipment and appliances for the City of Toronto. Fourth, we don't see a timeline in the strategy for disconnecting public and private buildings from natural gas. A set of deadlines similar to those outlined in the IEA report should be in place for getting Toronto off natural gas. And last one, fifth, the staff report addresses only 5 of the strategy's 9 recommended actions. This was referred to by Don Booth as well. Missing are the city's actions for providing integrated retrofit support, expanded retrofit financing, public awareness of emissions, reduction strategies and supports, and workforce development and training. We hope that the committee will consider the above areas of concern in its deliberations and urge the city to dedicate the financial and human resources needed for full and timely implementation. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak with you about this incredibly important matter.